characterize his whole debate performance, it was the reaction when somebody saw the Hindenburg. They went, "Oh, the humanity!"
Hey, Duncan Atheism, were you going easy on him or no?
Well, I'm not. I wasn't really feeling this well tonight. My cold was kicking back in again, and I have a bit of a sore throat. Okay, but I realized that I realized that I was dealing with somebody who was over the top obnoxious. And if I behaved more assertive, then it would have been just a massive fluster. So what I decided to do was to let him show the audience what a complete fool that he was. And I think I succeeded in that.
Oh yeah, he definitely did a good job of making a fool of himself.
It was pretty amusing when he said, "It is a proven fact that Adam and Eve did not exist."
He said a lot of dumb things. He said, "I'm an atheist, therefore atheism is true."
I mean,
Did he say that?
I mean, I took,
that's a literal.
I took notes of what he had to say, and I quoted back to him things that he said, and then he denied it. I mean, the guy was a moron.
I heard that
he's
too.
Just
in his opening statement, he was talking about what's possible and not possible.
Yeah,
he said in his opening statement that his worldview was arbitrary.
He basically said over and over and over again, he doesn't know what's ultimate. He doesn't know what's foundational, yet he keeps on talking about, can you prove it? Can you demonstrate it? When I asked him, what is the grounds of demonstrability? Is it in something that is unconditionally non-dependent, or is it an infinite regress? And he goes, I don't know, which he basically admitted that he doesn't know what the basis of demonstrability is. I mean, he imploded right there. He just totally... He nuked himself.
I'm holding a pen right now.
How could you ever demonstrate anything to him then?
See this pen? See this pen?
You know what? I mean, his performance was disastrous.
You should have got him to admit that he's an agnostic instead of an atheist. No.
You have to understand, because from my position, agnosticism is simply indirect atheism.
Well, yeah, they just
look. Look. He decided that he was going to be obnoxious, rude, and abusive, and I continued to shame him throughout the entire discourse. Not only in the force of the question that I asked him, but he conducted himself like an absolute imbecile.
You couldn't stop his rhetorical jabs,
Or you're completely delusional, one or the other.
What does that mean?
By saying I don't know doesn't mean that there's no foundation, that there's no reason.
He really was.
No, you're not understanding. If you do not identify what your grounding is, then your assertions are they are non-demonstrable. He kept on advocating for evidence, proof, and demonstrability. When I asked him, what is the basis? How do you demonstrate what the basis of demonstrability is? Do you recall what his answer was? He said, I don't know. He screwed himself. He shot himself in the head philosophically for the entire YouTube audience to see.
Yeah, and he said that like in the beginning of the debate. So like after that, he just essentially backpedaled on his position and just kept deflecting backwards. Anytime he was taken a task on providing some sort of an answer, or basis.
He quoted Christopher Hitchens. He quoted Hitchens. He said, that which is stated without evidence will be dismissed without evidence. I asked him, what is the evidence of or the grounding for demonstrability? And he said, I don't know. So according to his principle, he has to dismiss demonstrability because it's without foundation or evidence. Okay.
So you need a foundation to demonstrate knowledge?
Yes. No,
you don't.
Okay, good. Explain to me. Okay. Listen. Okay, Onus, let me ask you a question. Okay. Does knowledge require that we that we obtain and apprehend propositions that are true?
You just need sufficient reasoning.
No, that's not an answer to my question. That's an evasive response. Maybe you didn't want to answer the question, or you didn't understand the question.
Say it again.
In order to have knowledge, must not we have possession of at least one or more propositions that are truth bearers?
Why would that be?
How do you have knowledge without propositions that are truth bearers?
Reason. You have reasons.
Okay, Onus. I'm going to go easy on you. I think we should end it right now. You're totally clueless. Okay, you don't know how to answer the question. It wasn't a trick question. It's not a loaded question. If you didn't understand the question,
you don't need propositions.
Please. Okay, all right. Well, then what you're saying is you can know things without having any proposition that is a truth bearer. That's incoherent.
Why is that?
Because knowledge is generally defined as a justified true belief. A belief is it has propositional content. Okay, and if it has propositional content, it putatively is a truth bearer. Okay. Now, if you didn't understand the question, you shouldn't throw away answers like saying reason, because that wasn't an answer to my question. You're just showing your own ignorance.
Okay, are reasons not propositions?
Okay, no, that you're not understanding.
To justify beliefs.
Can you have knowledge? Listen
nothing.
carefully. You're still not getting this. Can you have knowledge without possessing or have apprehension of a proposition that's a truth bearer? Can you have knowledge without that?
I don't understand that question.
Okay, go away. We're done with you. Next. Okay. Yeah. Some parents should not let their teenagers stay up too late. Yeah, that was Michael Stort. The guy was just, I mean, it was beyond disastrous. I mean,
I felt bad for the guy, like, because of how much he just embarrassed himself. Like, he kept projecting this whole passive aggressive front to compensate for his lack of answers.
Yeah, I just hope I don't get sued for assault and battery.
I know.
The guy didn't have even an ounce of philosophical understanding.
He basically came across as a teenager trapped in. He came across as an angry teenager trapped in an adult's body.
Yeah, he was
You mean two adults
fighting for truth.
Yeah, you'll notice that I think I did a pretty good job of staying focused. I always am trying to remind myself, stay focused. And he keeps on saying, you haven't proven it. And I said, well, I did offer the proof in my opening statement, but you have rejected it. But the very things that you're saying in response don't have coherency because your world doesn't provide for it. Okay.
Yeah, I noticed he kept trying to prompt you to acquiesce to his world.
Right. What he's trying to do is pull me back in. He's trying to pull me into evidentialism. I already made my case. You reject it. Would you want me to repeat the same thing I said in the beginning that you've already rejected? My point is this, is that your non-acceptance of itself, the non-acceptance of my opening statement, although it wasn't very well worded because I'm not feeling that well. Okay. His non-acceptance of it is a denial, and the denial of it is just simply incoherent. I just asked him,
Yeah, it's really hard for them to claim that anything when.
Yeah, I just said, what is your grounds? He keeps on talking about dropping a pencil. This guy. This is what we would expect from a 15-year-old.
Oh, you'll appreciate all of. I've already seen so many people meme this pen and stuff like that throughout the whole.
Yeah, I'll tell you, I've literally heard that hundreds of times. This pen.
Yeah, it was not original. That's what made it such a meme value.
Darth, you did concede that
sad.
if it was the sort of like Descartes evil demon thing, that you would fall into the same logical.
I'm just glad that he was
Fine.
over. Yeah, I'm just glad he was over 18 because I don't want to get charged with child abuse.
You said
Oh,
if the
that was
special
a
revelation
thick boy right there. That
So-
was
You
a
said
thick
that if special
boy.
revelation was a
Did
lie
you-
in the same way that
Did you generally
same way that
like
evil
the format of modern day debates? The format they have?
kind of asking a question.
Is it something that you don't like? Because I've heard that complaint that many people don't like the format of MDD and how they conduct.
Well, I would just like James to stop being such a whoosh and not let this guy be so abusive. Okay, but that's okay. It actually turned out to benefit me because I kept on pointing out how utterly obnoxious he was, and that he was being obnoxious because he didn't actually have content. So it actually worked out for the best.
He
You
wanted
did
to
concede that, though,
really
right?
quick, man.
You conceded that one point, right?
I mean, it was just another atheist
Can I be
train
heard?
wreck. Yeah, we can hear you.
Right. So did you concede that one point about the Descartes evil demon thing, where if like special revelation was false, you would fall into the same
No,
logic?
I answered that. Weren't you listening?
Yeah, it was in the background, but you said that like that would lead to the intelligibility of statements also not being justified in your worldview.
No. Positing that position is incoherent in and of itself. If you do not accept the revelation of God, who He is, what He has done through natural and special revelation, if you don't accept that, then whatever you say will be reduced to absurdity, because then what we do is whatever you say, we look at its root, we look at its foundation, and all assertions are just simply going to be arbitrary. That's what he kept on doing. He kept on making arbitrary assertions. And I kept on calling him on the carpet.
For Christianity specifically, though, like if the special revelation through the Bible was a lie or just invented.
Well, let's put it this way, okay? That would be taking. May I finish? Let me answer him, okay? If you take that position, what it amounts to is the non-acceptance of the Christian worldview. Okay, so what is implicit in the non-acceptance of the Christian worldview is that predication and propositional assertions have viability and intelligibility. Well, we saw on full display tonight when I kept on Michael to give an account of demonstrability, he could not demonstrate demonstrability. Okay, so
Yeah,
the point is the point is simply this: reject the Christian worldview, and you are reduced to a bubbling cauldron of incoherency.
As stated, not a straw man of Christianity, which the Descartes demon is.
Yeah, right.
Accepting the Christian
Right, yeah, I understand. Just when he asked the question, he was like, it was like
it's wrong on
evil
multiple
demon
fronts.
like. It's not the exact argument.
When you say it's evil, what standard of goodness is it violating to be evil? You're still back to the ultimate, which ain't the evil demon.
The argument. It doesn't.
By the way, after the debate was over and we stopped streaming, I thanked Michael for the debate. I thanked James, and I invited Michael. I said, if you'd like to converse now further, just between the two of us, or if you'd like to do so on a Discord platform or anywhere else, I'll be glad to do it. He just out and out refused. He goes, well, I wouldn't go anywhere, where you have mutes. And I said, well, if you want to go, we can have a neutral moderator. I said, we can talk right here. And he was fit to be tied. He did not want to. I said, would you like to continue the conversations between the two of us? He was so fit to be tied. He couldn't turn off his screen fast enough.
You should have said to him that you really felt challenged by that debate and you wanted to have a round two.
Well, that would have been a lie.
Okay, well, phrase it some other way,
What do you got?
It was a stimulating debate.
Well, I have a question. So let's say
one real quick thing. I think that how I questioned him was, I think, unconstitutional. I think that it epitomized cruel and unusual treatment.
Yeah. Okay.
No, he's
Duncan,
Canadian. He's Canadian.
Duncan,
it doesn't matter.
Duncan, I thought you did a great job with keeping your cool on that one. It's good.
I try because I got a lot of you buddies. You're telling me, Duncan, keep cool, don't get angry, don't swear, and But hey, listen, if well, I appreciate that, but I realized the kind of beast that I was dealing with. The guy was obnoxious from the get go, and if I got more assertive, he would have just turned into the werewolf from London, and it would have just imploded. So I figured, okay, I'll just keep questioning away, and I'm going to let him cut his own throat, which he did.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a dishonest debating tactic I've seen atheists play, is knowing if they're speaking to a Christian, knowing that the Christians are supposed to set an example, it's supposed to be a role model, and if they lose their cool, like they try to play on that and then point the finger and say, like, you're a poor example of a Christian, and like, you rail against your own convictions and whatnot.
Yeah.
Did you hear my last jab I got in on him?
No.
I said to James, I thank James for inviting me. I thank Michael for the debate. I thank James for inviting me. And I said, James, I appreciate this debate format. I look forward to other ones. I said, but for the next person you pick to debate me, could you at least have them be prepared when they come for the debate?
Yeah. He was really like, I don't know if it was because he was seeing the comments and then was realization was setting in, but you could tell if you looked at his behaviorisms, like his body language, that Michael was getting really nervous about his performance, and he was very irritated about it. And
did you see him stick his finger in his mouth like it was a gun and shoot himself?
Yeah.
I was not looking at the YouTube external chat, so if there's anything interesting or amusing that anyone can think of, I'd love to.
Just that it seemed that everyone was in the majority was in consensus that Michael was performing terribly. Even the atheists were like, this is a real disappointment, basically. Like that he was just, he wouldn't engage philosophically, like scientifically, like he basically just had nothing, and then just wanted you to acquiesce to his point of view, like to bring you down to his level, because he had no capability of arguing at a higher level. So it was really sad, like he basically just bit off more than he can chew.
Look, the way I see it is that Pee Wee Herman should never step into an MMA ring.
Right.
Yeah, I agree. His performance was pretty bad. But can I ask my question?
Sure.
Right. So let's say I gave you the Bible, just like in whatever version you take as valid scripture, like KJV or whatever, and then let's say I provided my own that I had written, or I didn't tell you I read it, but just another version that keeps like the coherency of it and establishes the same like standard for God, but just like the behavioral prescriptions were changed. And it like tells you, like, let's say the 10 Commandments or whatever were taken out and replaced with something else. How would you verify which one is the actual word of God?
We got the historical.
Well, what you're presenting is a fantasy. The Bible is not just simply a book. The Bible is it is the product of God's revelation through the course of human history. Okay, so what you're appealing to is something that does not and cannot exist.
How would you tell, though? Because when you were first presented a Bible,
no, sir, listen to me. I just answered you. There is no other religious text like that is extant that you described. It doesn't exist.
Ontologically parallel.
No, if I took the Bible itself and just edited some passages, I'm saying
that means you took the Bible.
Then it's no longer the Bible, sir.
Well, how can you tell the original from the edited version?
Because we got the historical evidence. You're not putting your illustration on.
You have to understand that the Bible is a package. The Christian worldview is a package deal. Okay, like Van Til says, we don't build up our case in a block house method. Now, from time to time, we can talk about this block and that block, but the point is, you're either going to accept the Bible as a whole, the message it presents from Genesis to Revelation, or you don't. And if you don't, it's metaphysically catastrophic for you. Your position on anything will be reduced to absurdity. We saw this on full display with Michael. His position was in his rejection of the presentation of the Christian worldview, his position was reduced to absurdity. I showed it time and time again. I said, what is your foundation? What is it that's ultimate that provides for dependent states? He said he didn't know. Therefore, he is making assertions that are consequently not finally demonstrable. He keeps on insisting on demonstrability when his model of reality doesn't have a basis for demonstrability. So his position, I took his own criterion of belief to cut his own head off.
I agree with that component of the argument. I just feel like that's kind of tangential to what I'm talking about. I'm saying let's say I removed a single verse. Would that make the entire quote unquote Bible that I'm presenting to you?
No. So I've literally heard people make it look.
You're being now what you're doing is you're straining at gnats and swallowing camels. You're being ridiculous. The problem is you're already starting off as an atheist, okay? And you're asking all these questions. Anytime you say anything or I say anything, right, it's either going to presuppose we're going to adopt the Christian worldview that God has revealed himself in natural revelation and special revelation, or we won't. So as he kept on saying, you haven't proven it, and I said, well, I have in my opening statement. He says, no, you haven't. I said, good. Okay, fine. Then what I'm going to do next is to show you that the Bible is proven, the Christian worldview is that your non-acceptance of it, okay, reduces your position to absurdity. I'm using a reductio ad absurdum on him. Okay, right. Deny the Christian worldview, deny the presentation of the Christian worldview, and whatever you say will be reduced to absurdity, and that's what I did.
Plus, I want to say something to speak to the whole claim that because there are copies or alterations or variations or versions that somehow that negates the consistency of the narrative. First of all, if you compare the Dead Sea Scrolls to any of the latter copies, any of the later collations, they're basically 97%, identical, and the only missing percentage is accounted for the pieces that are missing from the actual scroll. So what that tells you is that the narrative is the same. And then I also find it ironic because I rarely hear anyone make the same claims, the same accusations against Ugaritic and cuneiform when they maintain the same narratives, but they're different languages and they show up differently, but nobody ever says that.
Balrog, do you know who Bart Ehrman is?
I don't.
Yeah, I've seen him have some pretty.
Bart Ehrman is a bona fide New Testament scholar, but he's an atheist, and he's somebody who regularly attacks Christianity and the integrity of the Bible. Bart Ehrman wrote in the paperback edition of one of his books that the textual variants, the copying errors, which are 98 to 99% of them, are simply they're inconsequential. They do not obscure what the original text means or says. He said the textual variants pose no, and I'm paraphrasing him, right? Because I don't have it here in front of me. Bart Ehrman, who's an atheist and attacks the Bible, in one of his books stated that the textual variants do not pose any problem to the central doctrines or pillars of our belief system of Christianity. Okay.
In the appendix of misquoting.
I don't disagree. What I'm not trying to.
Hold on. Let Mad go ahead.
Yeah, it's in the appendix of misquoting Jesus. It's in the appendix.
Is that the paperback edition?
Both. I think it's in the appendix.
It's in both. Okay, I wasn't aware that it was in the hard.
Yep, that's what Dan Wallace always calls him out on every formal debate he's had with him. Says you already put it in black and white.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, what I'm trying to get here, I'm not. This isn't like a gotcha to invalidate the narrative. I agree, even if those little meticulous changes, the overall narrative could still be the same. And that's what I'm saying. The coherency that you derive from God, I'm saying in this version of my Bible, that would all be complete. I'm just saying if I took very specific verses and I either remove them or change them slightly so that like I said, the behavioral prescription is different. I'm just wondering how you would tell the difference.
Historical text, because there's even critical text of the Hebrew. the Hebrew Old Testament, the Hebrew Hebraica Stuttgartensia. It's a critical edition of the Old Testament. You say in your edition overthrows that?
Look,
what basis?
Even, listen, with all, in antiquity, we have more copies closer to the autographs than any document of antiquity, and we have more copies of documents from antiquity in the New Testament. Now, it is true that as you move later on farther away from the original autographs, the copies tend to multiply, right? But because the New Testament documents were copied so quickly and were disseminated widely, it then becomes impossible for any single or small group of people who have malfeasance to try to, change things in the Bible. Okay, because we have such a multiplicity of copies, they wouldn't be able to obscure the original scripture.
Infinitism is a solution to infinite regress.
Infinitism is a solution. Well, how do you justify that there is an infinite regress? On what grounds? I'm waiting.
Imagination.
I like the way you whispered that. That was good. That was spooky.
I'm unmuted. Cool.
So what would be irreducibly primary that would provide for the set of regress?
What do you mean?
Well, what would be the ground of all being that would provide? You see, appealing to an infinite regress is just simply delaying answering the question.
You think there must be a foundation of some sort.
Okay, and you do, and you do too, and I can demonstrate to you that the non-acceptance of that is incoherent. Would you like me to?
I don't, but okay, go ahead.
Okay, do you? And I'll ask you the same question that I asked that numbskull Michael. Do you accept that a fact is either unconditionally non-dependent or it is dependent? Do you accept that statement?
I don't think about that.
A fact is either non-dependent, unconditionally non-dependent, or a fact is dependent. It's a statement, not a question. Now, to show you how unprepared Michael was, and I just don't mean in preparation, but just intellectually, he didn't even answer the question because he agreed with A or not A, but then when I just simply plugged in a value for A, he denied that. He didn't realize that conceptually he was contradicting himself. That's how intellectually feeble he was.
Hello.
Now, I should be fair. I mean, sometimes I don't get certain concepts too, and it takes me a while to get it. So, but he just, it was a disaster. So, do you accept?
I don't know if it makes sense to say whether facts are independent or dependent upon something.
Okay. Does it make sense to you when I say something is either A or not A?
Sure, law of non-contradiction.
Good. So if I plug in a value for A, it doesn't matter what the value I plug it in. You'd still have to accept it.
Something is either brown or not brown.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what the value is that I plug in there. Once you accept something's either A or not A, if I plug in a value, okay, if I say that a fact is either dependent or not non-dependent, okay, not dependent, that's the same as saying something is either A or not A. If you accept one, you have to accept the other. Okay, you understand?
Okay, I guess they're non-dependent.
No. Do you accept the statement?
No, it's either. It's.
I didn't say are facts dependent or not dependent. I didn't ask you that question. I said a fact is either non-dependent or dependent. It's a statement, not a question. Something is either A or not A. Do you accept that?
Sure.
Okay. Now, when you say that you don't need a foundation, then you believe that a dependent fact that doesn't foundationally or ultimately depend upon something is coherent? That's a self-refuting statement.
I don't think you need any ultimate foundation.
Then you can't. So then you believe that there are derivational facts that don't derive from anything foundationally.
Reasoning. Sufficient reasoning.
How old are you?
Sufficient reasoning justifies.
How old are you?
That's none of your business.
It is my business, because when I'm dealing with male teenagers, because of their lack of experience and abstract reasoning skills, they become quickly argumentative when they simply do not understand something. Are you a teenager?
Okay, I'm a teenager.
Okay, that's fine. Then I'll go easier on you. If you're 25 or 35, I wouldn't go so easy. All right. Now, there's not a problem with that. The good news is, I'll be dead in a few years and you'll still be alive. So, thank your blessings that you're a teenager. Anyway,
don't say
now I'm just being funny. Okay. But it's true. So if you don't accept that, you can't have intelligibility for a dependent fact that doesn't finally or ultimately depend upon something that's non-dependent. It would be like saying the dog is running in the backyard, and at the same time, in the same sense, it's not running in the backyard. That's not coherent. A dependent fact that doesn't ultimately depend upon something it's meaningless.
Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with infinite regress.
But you see,
infinity comes from somewhere too, though.
Yeah,
I was going to ask you mathematically if you're familiar with
an appeal to an infinite regress is simply dodging the question. Dodging the question, because then all I have to say to you is, why does the chain exist at all?
Or the causal connections between the things.
All right, so let me explain something.
And how is
listen,
self-sufficient?
Hold on. I don't want him to think that we're piling on. When I ask for what is ultimate or irreducibly primary, it's in two senses, right? One is chronologically, the other is contemporarily. Okay, so let me give you God as an example, right? Doesn't matter whether you believe in God in order for you to understand this. God is defined as irreducibly primary. That's how I like to express it. He's ultimate. He's unconditionally non-dependent. So even though he is the chronological primary, he's also the contemporary primary. In other words, he is the reason why anything is in existence. So you're just focusing on the chronology, not the contemporary reason. Why does anything at all exist? So God is irreducibly primary chronologically and contemporarily. So when you try to weasel out of it, and I don't mean that in a bad way, through an infinite regress, which itself is not coherent, you're still not addressing the contemporary problem. What is irreducibly primary contemporarily right now? Why does anything exist at all?
Does it need a reason?
Of course it does.
Well, do you deny the?
Why isn't it just self-evident?
Well, then you what you're saying is, why does a statement have to have intelligibility? I mean, what kind of a question is that?
If you want to prove something as a fact, it needs intelligibility, I guess. You need sufficient chain of reasoning to demonstrate something is true or not.
No. It's not just simply a chain. It's also contemporarily. Why does anything exist? Why is there a succession at all? What secures that something exists? Not just simply the chronological succession. Why does anything exist, either in a singular time index or in a successive time index? You see, if you don't hold to the Christian worldview, okay, your position is, oh, I don't need any stinking God. God is not necessary. Okay, what is necessary? You're not going to get a get out of jail free card, all right? Because if you don't accept the Christian worldview, you're not accepting that God is irreducibly primary, the principium ascendi, the ground of all being in terms of beginning and right now. So if you deny that, then anything you say will either be a statement of dependency that doesn't depend upon anything, or it does depend upon something. If you make a statement of dependency that doesn't depend upon something, either way, it's incoherent. It doesn't mean anything.
It'd be arbitrary.
This is why, you see, this is why when unbelievers,
I just don't think that makes any sense.
You
think the universe had a beginning, but we don't know that.
You're not understanding, okay? We need to bifurcate the situation. We're not just talking about explaining the origin. We're talking about the now. Why does anything exist at all? What unifies all the particulars? Do they each, in and of themselves, are they non-dependent? Because if you tried to argue that way, then nothing would be ultimate, and then you're screwed. You're not understanding the philosophical dilemma that you're in. Okay?
I don't think you need to ask why anything exists. It just does.
Okay.
Like,
there we go. Bingo. Wow, the goose that laid the golden egg. So another thing is things are brute facts. They just simply exist.
I mean,
is that your position?
I mean, what do you think it reduces to?
No, that's not an answer to my question. Are you saying that there is something or things that simply exist without a reason? Not that you're unaware of the reason, but some things just simply exist.
Yeah, I would say that.
Good. Then here's the problem. Is there only one thing that exists? Okay, good. Well, that's called a brute fact. So if there's only one thing
monism
that's primary, okay, is this one thing that exists without reason primary?
I guess so.
Well, if it is, then
I can't say with certainty exactly what it is.
The point is, you reject the Christian worldview. Your position implicitly is that you can speak and have intelligibility for propositions and predications without the necessity of referencing God. That's your position. Okay? Now, when you speak forth propositions or putative facts, okay, I want to know what the basis of their intelligibility is. Is there one primary fact that explains all secondary facts?
Yeah, I believe there is.
What is it?
Matter, material reality.
Okay, so you're a monist then.
Yes.
Okay? Good. So you're not a dualist. You reject the creator-creature distinction. Now, so you believe that matter and energy are eternal. So so basically your monism, what is its ultimate nature? Is it in its oneness or its manyness?
I guess it's all one. It's all one thing.
Okay, good. Now you have destroyed your ability to make distinctions. Thank you, Calvin. No, because distinctions, if what is ultimate about physicality, what's ultimate about it is its oneness, as opposed to is it an abstract one like a set, or is it a concrete one?
Yeah, no, it is one thing, but
listen, is what you consider one, is that a concrete one, or is it an abstract one where it's a conceptual, a set?
It's a concrete one.
Okay, good. If it's a concrete one, then you don't have particulars.
Maybe in the technical sense, no.
No, you don't have particulars. Listen to me.
It's just an illusion.
That might be true.
Listen, can you please listen a little bit more? I'm trying to show you how that position is incoherent. If the ultimacy of reality is defined that it is an ultimate one, then you have no actual particulars or distinctions. They don't actually exist.
Okay.
Good. And therefore, you will destroy intelligibility.
That does not follow.
It does follow, because if everything is one, when you speak, you can only speak of the one. You can't speak of particulars. So if you said dogs and cats don't exist.
We have minds that can perceive abstract.
You're not understanding. Okay, I can tell right away. You not only do you not understand what you're going to is you're now going from plan A to plan B. Plan B is to be argumentative.
No, I'm not.
Okay. Listen to me carefully. If I talk about a cat, a dog, and a tree, either those distinctions are real or they're not.
You can say they're arbitrary, sure.
No, I didn't say they're arbitrary. I said either the distinctions are real or they're not real. Okay? Do distinctions and particulars exist?
I would say both.
Okay, so particulars exist. So then what is ultimate in your view of monism? Listen to me. My patience is growing very thin because I know. Okay, please. Okay, overtalk me again, and I'm going to server mute you.
Go ahead.
Conversation. Okay, bye bye. See you later.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay, so what we see here is we have a young punk atheist who he's starting off like he's trying to engage intelligently, and now he's moved on to plan B, and he was warned. He wants to be obnoxious. Then we're over.
I do think his last interruption was unintentional, Darth. He's very.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Please do not overtalk me, or you will be server muted. Now, I ask you, what is ultimately true? Is what is ultimate in existence? Is it an absolute one or not a one? Meaning, it would be composed of particulars. You might conceive of it conceptually in an abstraction of a set. But the set itself is an abstraction. So what is it about your monistic worldview? What exemplifies its ultimacy? Is it in its oneness or not oneness, meaning there are particulars?
It is oneness.
Okay. If you say that it is simply one, then there is not one. Do you understand?
Sure.
Now, where if it is not one, it means there cannot be particulars.
Okay.
Or the many, right? If I have in one hand I have a penny,
yeah,
and in my other hand I have 3 pennies. In one hand I have one. In my other hand I have the many particulars. Okay. So what you believe is what ultimately characterizes monism is that it is one, and you have denied that its oneness is it's an abstraction of a set of the many. It's a concrete one.
I would say it's the opposite way around.
Is the ultimacy of reality in its oneness or not its oneness?
It is one. It's one.
Okay. Yeah. So your monistic reality composed of matter, it means that there are not particulars of matter. There's only one thing that we call matter.
Yes.
And it's not a conceptualized abstraction of a set of particulars, each of which have the quality of matter. Okay? Now, once you concede that the ultimacy of your material monistic outlook is in its oneness and not its manyness, you do not have the ability to invoke particulars at all. If you cannot invoke particulars, that there's a cat and a dog, right? And it doesn't matter what class it's in. It could be a dog and a dog. Those would be two particulars. Once you admit that the ultimacy of reality is one and there are not particulars, you lose your ability to speak intelligibly, because every time you say anything that is referencing particulars, they don't exist.
Okay.
So you're doomed to unintelligibility.
I don't see how that follows.
Okay, see you later. You're done. He's trolling. We're done.
No.
Okay, it's clear he's trolling. Okay. This is what we call Plan B. Okay, it's been explained to him several times. He's a little teenager who thinks like he's a contrarian. No, I don't accept that.
Well, can you say like these distinctions are just kind of linguistic and they're not metaphysically real, but like we just make them for convenience?
Well, that was his.
I had trouble hearing you. Can you repeat that?
Like, couldn't you say these distinctions of particulars that we make are just kind of linguistic and conceptual, but they're not?
Well, then he denied that. Actually, I should say. That. I just was going to correct myself. He's confirming that the particulars are illusory. When you say the totality and ultimacy of reality is in its oneness, not its manyness, then you're repudiating, whether you realize it or not, that there is the many or particulars.
Yeah, but I think a monist would say something like, we can still talk as if there are particulars, but it's just in a fictional sense.
Good. Then they're talking about things that don't exist.
Yeah.
Good. Then they lose their ability to speak intelligibly. By the way, did you hear that Donald Trump was assassinated by Darth Vader? He went into the Oval Office and cut his head off with a lightsaber. Did you hear that?
Yeah, I did.
You would say that those particulars have no correspondence to what is actual. It's gobbledygook. It's fantasy. So whenever he invokes particulars, it's absolute fantasy. It doesn't exist. He loses his ability to speak intelligibly.
No, I think that you can speak intelligibly, but the only difference.
No, you're not. You're not getting this.
No, I get it.
You can't talk about two things when there's only one.
Mystic, aren't you still? Are you still monist?
Yeah, I mean, I think the position is like it's called indirect language correspondence, and so you think,
dude, you're not. You know what? You're just being a contrarian with philosophy speak. You cannot, on one hand, and say, well, that's what you're doing. Okay.
I don't know how.
Which is not surprising, given that you like Peter Boghossian, right? Now, the fact of the matter is, well, do you find that funny? You do.
Yeah, because I think you made some no after one conversation.
Yeah. Well, have you disavowed Peter Boghossian?
No, but he's not a very strong influence. I mean, he's like not
really. So you're not a practitioner of street epistemology?
No.
When did you give that up?
I was never that hardcore, where I was actually a practitioner.
Were you a practitioner of street epistemology?
Never.
Never? Well, why is it that many moons ago, when I talked with you, I took notes on you and the things that you said? Are you aware of that?
Yeah, I'm guessing it's because we were talking about.
Okay, so was I lying to myself when I took notes about what you were saying?
No, but I think you're not. You're infallible.
No, but okay, no, but that's like but okay. The bottom line here is you're just giving me verbal jibber jabber. You're not saying anything substance. Once you affirm that the ultimacy of reality is in its oneness, that it's not an abstract conceptual set of the many, okay? What you're saying is there is no many. The many do not exist. There's just simply one concrete thing. Mm-hmm. It's not an abstract one. It's a concrete one. Once you say there's a concrete one, anytime you invoke particulars, they don't exist.
Well, they're just abstract.
They don't exist.
Well, that depends on whether you think abstract objects exist.
Listen, well, sir, listen to me. You're still in a position. Once you deny the Christian worldview, you're not in a position to say what can or cannot exist. Can you do that?
I don't know.
Well, Jesus said to his disciples, when shocked about the teaching of salvation, he basically said, and I'll paraphrase, all possibility resides and derives from God. Since you don't accept that, then what is, and this is the question, did you watch my debate tonight?
No.
Okay, I had a debate tonight with some atheist schmuck. I asked him, what is it that demarcates and determines what is possible and impossible, what can be or cannot be? What would that be? Since it's not God, what is it?
Well, I'm a monist, so I think it's the ground of being is, I mean, you can call it whatever you want.
No, I'm asking you, what is it that is ultimate that provides for what demarcates and delineates what is possible and impossible? What is it?
I couldn't tell you what it is.
Well, then if you can't tell me what demarcates possibility and impossibility, you have no grounds to make any assertion.
Fair enough.
Your assertions as an atheist in your God-free world that you don't need God, you have just realized the consequences of rejecting the loving revelation of the Christian God, of who he is, his substitutionary atonement, and you've now realized that it is catastrophic. Once you deny the revelation of God, your position is rendered unintelligible. You can't say anything, because if you so much as say the sky is blue, or I have 3 pennies in my pocket, all right, then what you have implicitly in mind is that there is possibility and impossibility and something that demarcates it. But you don't know what demarcates it. Therefore, anything goes. And if anything goes, you have no intelligibility for anything. This is why God said very wisely in 1 Corinthians, has not God turned the wisdom of the world into foolishness? We could say absurdity. When you deny God, who is the ultimate, the irreducible primary, that which determines what is possible and impossible, when you deny that, you have no grounds for possibility and impossibility, and everything you say will be absurd. Now, you're not going to think it's absurd because you haven't examined it to its basis, and your basis is nothing. You don't know what is possible and impossible. Therefore, you couldn't even count pennies in your frame of reference. Can you count pennies in God's world? Yes, you can. But in your worldview, your frame of reference makes counting incoherent and unintelligible.
Well, I think it just makes it abstract.
No, you didn't. Obviously, you're clueless. You didn't get what I just said.
It's fine.
Okay.
Have a good one.
Okay. Your position, your denial that God is irreducibly primary and is the determiner of possibility and impossibility, when you deny that and you don't accept it, and then I ask you, what is the delimiter of possibility and impossibility, and you say you don't know, well, then how did you rule out God? Well, we know why you did. It's because you have a sin nature. You want to operate according to autonomous reasoning that you think is coherent, but it's not. And in doing so, you think that your rejection of God is coherent. But your rejection of God as the ground of all being, the irreducible primary, that which determines possibility, impossibility, reduces your world and anything you say in it to absurdity. You've just admitted it here. You don't know what is the basis of possibility, impossibility. Therefore, you cannot object to anything anybody says on any grounds.
I think that
you might object. You might object on the grounds of mysticism or intuition, but you will have no rational basis to object to anything you say. And in fact, you will have no basis for rationality at all. Okay, because you don't know what's possible and impossible.
My point was, though, is that when we're talking about like the ground of all being, that like whatever words we use to describe it are just going to be kind of symbols that, I mean, can never really be encapsulated.
Is that true? What you just said?
Yeah.
So it's possible.
What's possible?
What you just said. Is it a possibility, or is it an impossibility? What you just said.
A possibility.
It's a what?
A possibility.
Okay, so it can be. What determines what can be and cannot be?
The ground of all being.
What is it?
You can call it whatever you want.
I'm waiting for your answer.
Let's call it the absolute.
Yeah, what is it?
I don't know. There's no way to answer that.
Okay, well, guess what? You have now conceded that everything you assert is based upon I don't know, and there's no way for you to provide a basis for what you assert. You've just admitted that. Do you realize how I have shown you that your rejection of God's revelation reduces your position to absurdity?
No, I do not think that.
Oh, you don't. You didn't see that. Everyone else in the room saw it.
It's fine to have this.
Are you in that much fundamental denial? Are you simply trying to save face in the room?
Sure. I mean, I just disagree still.
So what you're saying to me isn't true. You're just trying to save face. So you're lying.
No, I just disagree, but I can't get too.
Okay. Is it true? Is it true that you disagree?
It is true.
Okay. So it can be.
Yeah.
Okay. What determines and demarcates what can be and cannot be?
The ground of all being.
What is it?
I can't answer that.
So in other words, when you assert what can be and cannot be, you have no basis for that. So when you assert what can be and cannot be, are you asserting it arbitrarily?
I don't think arbitrarily, no.
Okay, good. If you're not asserting what can be and cannot be arbitrarily, what is it that determines what can be and cannot be?
Well, what metaphysically determines it is the ground of all being. But
what is that?
I don't know. I can answer that.
So in other words, when I ask you why are some things possible and impossible, your answer is, well, it's based upon I don't know.
Well,
so let's be clear here. Every time you assert that what is possible or impossible, you're asserting that in virtue of I don't know. Is that correct?
Well, I think we can know some things about the absolute.
No, I didn't. Okay. Could you tell me what is absolute?
I can tell you some properties of it.
What is it? What is it that is irreducibly primary and absolute?
You couldn't even give us properties of it, dude. Give us one
Sure,
property.
All I want to know is, remember, I use
nature.
Okay, I use several times. I use interchangeable, sometimes overlapping terms for the purpose of clarification. So, since you are here tonight, and it is your claim implicitly that you have the capacity to intelligibly assert what can or cannot be, you will either doing so arbitrarily or non-arbitrarily. Well, your claim it's non-arbitrary. I want to know what is the basis or what is irreducibly primary that provides and determines what is possible and impossible. I want to know specifically what it is.
I can't tell you what it is. I can only tell you something.
Good. So in other words, You are asserting possibility and impossibility arbitrarily. Isn't that correct?
No, because the things I do know about it.
No? Oh, so it's not arbitrary? Good. Can you tell me then, what is it specifically that determines possibility?
I can tell you it has a logical nature.
What is it?
I don't know.
So I don't know is what determines possibility and impossibility?
No, the thing that exists determines that.
What is it? What is it?
I couldn't tell you, man.
Darth.
Oh, okay.
Let's see if he can even sustain.
No. We're done, because now what he's resorted to, he's in a corner, he's completely trapped, and so what he's just simply doing is he's just filibustering. He has just admitted. Everything he asserts is in virtue of I don't know. It's game over, lights out. Okay?
Yeah, have a good night, man.
Your position has been the consequence of denying that the God of the Christian scriptures, the triune God, is irreducibly and is primary and indispensable for all possibility. The consequence of you denying that renders your position absurd. You're just making arbitrary declarations of what is and what cannot be. So you see, this is the proof of Christianity. It's called a reductio ad absurdum. The denial of the proposition results in absurdity. You see, this is the way God has designed it. God has designed the Christian scriptures in such a way that if you, in your pride and your defiance, refuse to submit to his mind and his authority, then you will be operating from, please do not overtalk me, then you will be operating from your own ultimacy or autonomy. When you reason and interpret existence through your own autonomous reasoning, you will be, not might, you will be blinded to the autonomous nature of the mind of God, and as it has been revealed in the scriptures. Okay? So that is why you cannot see the self-attesting nature of the Christian scriptures, because you're blinded by your autonomous reasoning. But your autonomous reasoning is itself incoherent. It's grounded in nothing. Because in order to interpret, to have the intelligibility of one fact, okay, a fact cannot be contextless. There's going to have to be a metaphysical framework, a metaphysical context, in order to place facts, its meaning, and its relationship to any other facts or particulars. So, when you deny the God of the Bible is indispensable and irreducible primary, your position is reduced to absurdity, and we're done.
Darth, Ver was asking to be next up to bat in the chat.
Go ahead, Ver. I can't wait to read the comments on the YouTube channel of the debate tonight. I haven't looked at them yet, but they must be really choice. I'm wondering, should I make some microwave popcorn before I read them?
Ver I was just gonna tell you you should do that.
Oh, did Ver change his mind?
Well, you know what's funny is that I can't wait to read the comments. They're going to be worse than the nasty tweets that the celebrities read on Jim.
Oh, Ver said, "When do I get to talk to this guy?"
Go ahead.
Did he change his mind?
He just said no, thank you, and now he's saying I changed my mind? Question mark? Question mark? What?
He probably heard that last conversation and changed his mind.
Isn't it funny that Michael Stewart, my interlocutor tonight, stated that he watched my interaction with Shannon Q. He basically said that he was somewhat familiar with me, yet he was completely ill-prepared. I mean, I didn't ask him questions that I don't ask of other people in the recorded YouTube videos of me, which he must have seen.
You know, the funny thing is, he wasn't even as prepared as Shannon Q was just to blow up the conversation.
And he didn't even form duck lips. At least he didn't say that his worldview was cheesecake. He didn't say his ultimate authority was his left testicle like Jim Majors. He goes, I don't know what's foundational. I don't know what's primary. But I know what's possible and impossible, even though I don't know what determines it. Oh my goodness. I think we should have a new category in the DSM of obnoxious teenagers trapped, atheist obnoxious teenagers trapped in grown men's bodies. What do you think? Do you think we could get that into the DSM?
No.
Okay, Fed Up sent me a message. Do you think William Lang is a Christian? Yes, I do. Do you think his beliefs are founded on Scripture? Yeah, some of them, but some of his beliefs I think that are inconsistent with Christianity. As much as I admire and respect his academic achievements, I think he's a brilliant guy. But some of the things he says, I just shake my head. Like when he was asked in one debate, "Do you know for certain that God exists?" and he said, "No." That is completely unbiblical and unchristian.
He said that? I didn't know he said that.
Yes, he did. Yes.
The fuck?
I'm not making that up.
There's no such thing as Jesus.
Okay. Well, are you a mythicist?
No, I'm a realist. I see the real world.
So
I'm a student of Jordan Maxwell.
Okay. So what's your worldview?
Well, my worldview is they're trying to fuck us all over and make us all sick.
Dude. Hold on a second. All right, listen, just to let you know, I'm a moderator in here, and I appreciate you want to jump in, and you're more than welcome. And I'm not suggesting that you are, but people who troll are quickly muted, right? So if you want to disagree,
Mike. This is the Wolfman, Mike.
Okay, so if you want to disagree and have a conversation, that's fine. But if you troll,
no, go ahead.
I'm talking. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. I just want to let you know what the protocol is. You're free to vigorously and staunchly disagree, but if you troll, you will be server muted without warning. Okay.
Duncan.
Now, now I have server muted, and I've had people saying, "Oh, give them another chance," or they feel that I might be a little too stringent. Okay, to show you I'm not a hard-hearted man. So could you please tell me? Good. Okay. Excellent. I'll take your word on it. So could you tell me what is your model of reality? What is it that is fundamental, foundational, that all things derive and depend upon?
Okay. So. Well, if you guys believe in religion and that, well, I will go as to say that I do believe that there could be beings like saints, like Angel Michael, that could exist. I
asked you what is ultimate and foundational that provides for all things that begin.
Well, that's just the all.
What?
Hermetic principles of Hermes Trismegistus. The all.
What is it that is indispensable and irreducibly primary and ultimate?
Okay. The all, the everything, the primary source. The Akashic records.
Do you think that everything that exists is unconditionally non-dependent and did not begin to exist? Everything?
Wow. Well, I think that if we think, then we look at it, then we see it, it exists.
I hate niggers too.
All right, dude.
Wait, is this guy trolling?
Have you been drinking tonight? Okay,
No,
well,
sir.
you're intellectually ill-equipped to have a conversation on this issue. You're giving
I just
completely.
don't know what you guys.
Okay,
Obviously,
okay. You're
maybe
listen
I'll
to
just
me.
listen for a while.
You're
I'm not
okay.
sure
Yeah,
what you
that
guys are
I think
talking
that would be best. I think that would be best.
Hey, Duncan. Duncan, sorry.
Soldier!
Hey, sorry to interrupt. I got a question for you.
Did you watch my debate?
I haven't had a chance to yet, but I heard it about it. So
Oh, shame on you. Okay, you're muted.
Wait,
Okay, that's it. Get out of here. No, he's muted. He didn't watch the debate. Okay.
Yeah,
Should
what
I
a
ban him?
troll. What a troll. Yeah,
You know
ban
what?
him.
And you call yourself a friend, and you didn't watch my debate tonight? What is wrong with you?
To eat, man. I'm starving. No, I'm just
If he didn't watch it at least twice
By the way,
already, he's probably a troll.
Soldier, did you get the book?
I love it. Yes, thank you.
I listen. The book is a tour de force.
Oh, that's one thing Revelation I haven't paid much attention to as much, so it'll be really interesting to read that.
The book it's phenomenal.
Right on. I was going to ask you something. So I was talking to Barlog. Now I'm going to butcher this because I don't understand what he was saying, but he was talking about what is his worldview is. What was it, Barlog? What did you call that term?
Solipsism, I believe.
Solipsism, but there's a type of solipsism where he was talking about definitions. Can be okay. Barlog, you explain it better, man.
Yeah.
Just say what you're
So
saying
we
about
were
the
having a
definition part.
conversation on like the intelligibility thing, and I was saying there's two types of knowledge that I kind of classified as. There's like sort of material, like reality describing knowledge, as in like the observation that you're seeing a chair and that it has four legs or whatever. And then there's kind of like, I guess I would say tautological definitional knowledge. Like, and I think the laws of logic aren't contingent upon God because it can necessarily follow from this. So for example, when I say A, included in the definition of A, and the same way when I say chair, like if I say what we call a couch is a chair, then that would be internally inconsistent. But my definition of chair is still like correct because that's the way I'm using it. Because I think a lot of these debates end up being like they're implicitly linguistic and we don't really realize it. We kind of take it to this ontological level. But
how did you? Okay, when you say the laws of logic do not emanate and derive from God, okay?
Yeah.
Then how did you ascertain that for all entities that exist, they always equal themselves in a time index and they cannot equal their negation? How did you determine that?
I didn't like determine that as a law of reality. That is just how I define it.
Okay, so what you were saying is that the rules of thought, the laws of logic, are just simply an imagination that you follow.
Yes.
Good. So what you're saying is fantasy is what provides for propositions that are truth bearers. A proposition is a truth bearer is if it conforms and coheres to what you fantasize.
You can frame it as a fantasy, but
well, what else would it be? What else would it be?
I mean, I agree, but it's just the words you're choosing.
Good, thank you for admitting that it's just fantasy.
The way I would describe it is a definitional framework that I've adopted in order to be able to analyze the world in any capacity.
Yeah, but
without it, I can't.
But you see, now you're differentiating yourself from you are distinguish yourself from another particular. But you see, you're saying that demarcation is in virtue of your fantasy. All you're simply listen.
Yeah.
Beyond you saying that the rules of thought or the laws of logic are conventional, okay, which turns out to be that they're just fantasy. Beyond that, everything else would just simply be an extension of your fantasy.
Sure.
Good. It's game over. Your rejection of the revelation of the Christian God has reduced your position to absurdity.
I don't agree that that's a reduct, because I think everyone does this.
Wow.
Is that a statement of fantasy?
All right.
By the way, when you say I don't believe, Okay, here's the problem. Do you believe that there is a correct way to form and hold beliefs?
I think you can define logic in any way you want.
I didn't
but
ask you that question. I'll repeat the question because
No.
it seems to me that English is your first language. Is there a correct way, a norm of how we ought to form and hold beliefs as true?
Right, I'm giving you an answer. I'm just qualifying it. I'm saying that. Okay, here's the answer. Objectively, no. But I'm saying if you define logic in any other way, where things like the law of non-contradiction
So in other words,
included,
so you have, listen to me. You have now reduced your own self, now what you're saying, to absurdity, because you say there is no objective standard for how beliefs ought to be formed and to be held. Therefore,
can I qualify my answer? Because I was in the middle.
No, you can't, because you made yourself very clear. Okay, there is no objective norm of how a belief is to be formed and held and to be deemed a truth bearer. Therefore, what is a correct belief is whatever coheres to your fantasy or your imagination.
Sure, but I think that
Good.
fantasy or imagination.
That's what we call schizophrenia.
Okay, can I continue my qualification?
Have you ever talked with a schizophrenic?
I don't believe I have.
Okay, well, it would do you some good, because when they talk, reality is not demarcated what's possible and impossible by something that is irreducibly and indispensably primary. Reality is whatever is going on in the fantasy of their mind at any given moment. Okay? Now, of course, I'm sure we agree that schizophrenia probably has its roots in some organic or chemical malfunction. But nonetheless, this is how schizophrenics reason. So you've now admitted that your standards of reason are that of a schizophrenic.
I mean, me and schizophrenics also breathe air. Just because we share some qualities isn't really relevant. But can I please?
Actually, I would take issue that you breathe dogs. Okay.
Like what?
I'm not aware. Well, I'm not aware that you breathe stones. Okay.
I get the meme you're doing, but if you were to listen to my qualification, I'll explain why it's.
Well, I'm actually not doing a meme. I'm simply saying to you that air as a dog is a stone. Okay.
I understand. I get it.
Right.
But if I can continue my qualification, I'll explain.
Do you accept that?
Okay, I'm just going to continue it. What I was saying.
Okay, dude, listen to me carefully.
I'm listening.
I have a nasty habit that when I'm dialoguing with people who reject the Christian worldview, that they at least make a good faith attempt to answer my questions instead of persistently dodging and evading. That's a form of obstructionism. Okay.
I was answering the question.
Now, is air a dog?
Is air as in like? What do you mean air? Just like oxygen?
Is air a dog? And a dog is a dog is a rock. Do you accept that?
A dog is a rock? What?
Look, dude, listen to me.
Yeah.
I'm at the coaxing at all my friends in here over the last days and weeks. They're really motivating me to be more mature and to be patient with you, but my patience is just simply running out.
Well, I would like.
Okay. Do not overtalk me.
Apologies.
Okay. My patience is rapidly running out with your deceitful evasiveness. I am asking you serious questions. I am not memeing. All I'm getting is dodging. And I understand why you want to dodge. Because if you don't dodge and you answer my questions, your position will be reduced to absurdity. Okay? Now, is air a dog and a dog is a rock? Do you accept that?
Under the definitions that I assume we both share because we speak English.
No, sir, you understand. Listen to me. You and I are speaking from two different worldviews that are incompatible. You and I are speaking from two incompatible, antithetical worldviews. Okay, so anything that any propositions that we deem are in common are actually contradictory to each other when we look at the underlying premises.
Only superficially the same.
All right, hold on a second. I'll be right back.
Okay, I mean, all right. I was attempting to answer his question. What I was going to say is that if you define logic in a way that's such that things like
You
the
should tell
law
him
of
that.
non-contradiction aren't internally true, then you lose the ability to convey any information, and you can't actually make arguments because nobody can understand it. Because like we cannot conceive of a world in which A can also be not A. It's intuitively impossible. So I'm saying when we have definitions, the utility of it is what's important. That's why there's like standards for English. When he asked me if air is a dog or whatever.
All right, I'm back. Okay.
Hello.
Did you just? I was listening. Okay, I couldn't speak. Did you just state what is possible and impossible?
Under a set of definitions that we both agree
All right,
to.
listen.
Yeah.
Listen. If you continue to evade my questions, it's going to be over.
I said yeah.
Okay. What is it ontologically that determines what's possible and impossible?
It's not ontologically, it's linguistically.
Okay. So then we can say anything. And the fact that when I assert something, if it doesn't align with your fantasies, well, we just have fantasies that don't coincide.
Blue sleeps faster than
your reasoning, listen to me carefully. You know, you're being very well, I don't want to say polite, but you're not being overtly obnoxious. Your reasoning, and I'm not being mean, is insane.
Okay.
You do not function this way in the real life. You just talk this way.
I 100% agree, and we can talk about that if you want.
Okay. Well, you see, you can't assert that we can talk about it because you don't know what is possible and impossible.
I agree.
You can't agree because you don't know what's possible. No, sir. Okay, what is it specifically ontologically that determines what can be?
It's not ontological. That's what I'm telling you. Ontologically,
okay, you're not understanding. Without an ontological framework or foundation, then you have no intelligibility for any proposition or predication.
Okay.
Ontology is the nature of being, and sometimes we say the ground of all being. So you keep on saying, well, we can talk about it. I can do this. Now, what is it that is primary in existence that determines what is possible ontologically?
You said a lot of things about my worldview and then asked me a question. Can I respond to the
Okay, bye-bye. See you later. Okay? You know, I had a Popeye moment. That's all I can stand because I cannot stand no more. This is what they do. Plan B. And in this case, Plan B consists of evasion. Okay, so we're done. We're going to move on.
Can you tell me what by ontological what you meant?
Ontological is just a philosophical term meaning the nature of existence, and especially foundationally.
So you're saying he doesn't. He's saying he doesn't. He doesn't believe.
What he's actually saying is that he's asserting the intelligibility of. He's verbalizing putative facts that have no ground of being to them. There's no ontological framework or foundation for putative facts.
So like
that's what we call insanity.
So he's saying basically like his definitions.
He can't even talk about definitions because there's not definitions don't exist ontologically. When he says I this, there's no I because there's no ontology. There's no ground of being. What he wants to do is he wants to deny the very metaphysical foundation that he needs to stand on in order to verbalize an intelligible fact. A fact is going to require context. No context, no fact. That context is going to be your model of reality, your system, your ontology. If you deny that there is an objective ontology or just simply no ontology at all, and you start jibber-jabbering as he did, he is simply, as an atheist, whistling past the graveyard. Now, having talked with him for a few minutes, I realize he's not stupid. So the only way I can evaluate what he's doing is he's being deceitful and being evasive as a form of obstructionism. Because if he answers the questions truthfully, he knows what the consequence will be. His position will be reduced to absurdity. So what does he do? Wait for it. It's a parakeet moment. It's a wall of words.
I don't understand his worldview. That's why I wanted you to debate him.
How can you understand something that is patently absurd? How could you?
I was trying to understand him.
Listen to me. You shouldn't try to find intelligibility where none exists. I mean, that's about as crazy as going out on a romantic date with Rosie O'Donnell. Okay?
Damn, you went there.
I know it's harsh, but
Is Goose talking? I didn't hear.
Sorry, mic was muted. I just said I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy.
yeah, Soldier. I do have to warn you when you do watch the debate tonight or tomorrow between me, myself, and Michael Stewart. Make sure nobody's sleeping in the house because you're going to wake them up with your hysterical laughing. Okay?
Yeah, I heard you.
His performance was historical, like the Hindenburg.
He probably got a link to that. I missed.
You missed it? You're no friend of mine.
Ban him. Mute him.
Family stuff. What can I say?
You stink. Just go to Modern Day Debate. Okay, what you want to look for, go to Modern Day Debate, click on videos, look for Duncan Atheism versus the Atheist Hindenburg.
Yeah, I'll check that out now.
I'm joking about the Atheist Hindenburg. That's a characterization.
I know that, but I'm looking at mine.
Not a caricature, a characterization of his performance.
Hey, I'm supposed to ask you about the married bachelor thing.
What about a married bachelor?
I don't know. It's the example he's giving. He said he had an illustrative example.
Well, married bachelors exist just like there aren't Rosie O'Donnell centerfolds. It cannot happen.
Hold up. I'm going to see. Hold up.
What's that, Goose?
I'm gonna see if I can.
How did you go from Goose 8.8 to infinity? How did that happen? Did you do it in the DeLorean with a flex capacitor?
I got tired of people telling me to update, so I just went all the way.
No, you don't go. It's fun. Just keep on going up incrementally. You know.
I actually didn't change it everywhere, just on this server.
Oh, I can't find my iPod, my AirPod case. What did I do with it? Oh, here it is.
Plus, there's a Goose 50 on this server, so I gotta outdo that one.
Yo, Duncan, I'm supposed to ask you something, okay?
From who?
just wait. Listen. I'm trying my best here because I'm lost, okay? But just bear with me. Listen. I was going to give an illustrative example to you that doesn't require ontology to be internally consistent. But he muted me. Please ask him about
is this from Balrog?
Wait. Just wait. Please ask him about the married bachelor thing. It's a very simple example that shows what I mean. I meant what we. How can I? All right,
you know, listen to me. Stop. Listen.
All right.
He was given numerous opportunities to stop his little evasive game, okay? But he wanted to continue to play. You know, ever seen Cool Hand Luke? Some men you just can't reach. What we have here is a failure to communicate. That's the way he wants it. That's the way he gets it. And I don't like it any more than you, man. And if you haven't seen Cool Hand Luke, shame on you. That should be on your bucket list of movies to see.
Duncan, I'm just going to read this because I want to get it off my chest.
You like torturing me, don't you?
I do. I just listen. So he goes,
I haven't seen you in a long time, and you're sticking those needles in.
Give me a break here. He goes, how can I say that a bachelor is necessarily unmarried without any ontology because it's tautological and linguistic? I can know this without God because it's part of the definition of.
Oh, he's really thick. There's no I when you don't have an ontology.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, and then he goes, and I said to him, "LOL." I go, "LOL, bro. I'm stupid. I'm the worst person to represent."
And what he doesn't understand,
LOL.
what he doesn't understand is that ontology. Okay, the nature of being is reciprocal with your theory of knowledge, your epistemology. They both are involved with each other. Okay, so I mean, like for example, T jump. I mean, the guy gives me a headache just thinking about him when he says,
"That's T jumping dumb."
Jumping dumb. By the way, I still got to watch that second video of his biggest blunders, but he says that his
there's another one?
Yeah, there's a sequel.
I love whoever makes those.
Well, that was, I mean, they were pretty bad. I mean, listen, I agree that we shouldn't jump on people if they're somewhat inarticulate in how they say something, because we want to have, the principle of charity. We don't want to jump on them if they say something, in a slightly malformed way. But this is a bonehead who considers himself highly intellectual, erudite, But he said his epistemology works with any ontology. He's totally moronic, okay? Because an epistemology is inseparable with the ontology. And in order to have a viable ontology, it has to be connected to what is the actual ontos or ground of being, right? I mean, this the guys. Watch the interaction between him and James Anderson, the biblical theologian, philosopher, Ventilian. Okay, it's painful watching this. Okay, I mean, if the atheists were simply more truthful and non-obstructionistic and evasive, then they would just simply realize that the denial of the revelation of the Christian God is it's simply not possible. It's simply incoherent.
Well, and here's the thing, right? Because I'm such a nice person, this last part I'm doing Barlog. This last part. Yes. Okay,
this is like The Exorcist.
You're gonna like this. I think I might understand your answer to this. I'm hoping. Okay, so he goes. It's all right. LOL. Just repeat what I said above. I'll answer any question he has through text, I guess. This is direct and non-evasive. I wasn't being evasive either. LOL. I disagree. I think
there can't be an I because there's no ground of being.
This is the part he's bringing up. I disagree. I think that cogito, I have no idea what, can also be proved this way, which establishes an I. Tell him
Okay,
listen,
he's an idiot.
He goes,
Cogito ergo sum. Cogito ergo sum is incoherent.
He's saying cogito is I think, therefore I am. Full thing is cogito ergo sum, which is what you just said, Duncan. And he goes, just tell him I think that cogito can be proved using the same linguistic epistemology.
He's an idiot. Okay. Okay. When you say cogito ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. What you're saying is the only thing that I know is my consciousness. Okay, is that consciousness? What is its frame of reference? Okay, now is my consciousness the only thing I know eternal? Is it irreducibly primary? Is it unconditionally non-dependent? Does it simply exist eternally and non-dependently? Now, imagine any fool saying yes to that. Well, if it doesn't, then its actuality and intelligibility is going to be in virtue of context. But when you say the only thing you know is your consciousness, what you're saying is there's a putative fact, my consciousness, that has no context. It is not. It's not derived from anything. In other words, they're not going to claim that it's ultimate and non-dependent. Therefore, by default, it's a dependent fact that doesn't depend upon anything. A dependent fact that doesn't depend upon anything is nothing at all. That's why cogito ergo sum is transcendentally incoherent.
Yeah, he basically said here, his only response to you is he agrees with you, and he's now a Christian.
Yeah,
just kidding. Just kidding. I made that up.
Yeah.
I made that up.
You see, what you want to do is listen. Every time an unbeliever makes an assertion, you have to ask yourself, excuse me, okay, is this putative fact, does it derive and depend upon the necessity of referencing God as irreducibly primary and indispensable? If not, then the putative proposition does not exist as referenced. Okay, it therefore has no intelligibility. Now, if they beg to differ that a putative fact does have viability, it does have intelligibility, not necessitating God as the primary or the ultimate, then they can tell us what is the ultimate. Okay, what is irreducibly primary that provides for that putative fact. And as we see time and time and time again, the atheists go, I don't know. So basically what they're spewing are uninterpreted facts. These are facts that have no ontological framework. They have no model of reality framework, so there are no facts at all. And what they want to say is such and such is a fact. Are you ready? Listen, I'm going to distill down what they say. Now, if somebody says XYZ is a putative fact, right? It makes no difference whether they say XYZ because of I don't know, or they have a successive chain of dependencies, and then the final outer context is, well, that's because of I don't know. It makes no difference. You ever heard the expression, a chain is only stronger at its weakest link? If your outermost context or chain of succession derives from I don't know, then everything following it is from I don't know. And they refuse to wake up and smell the coffee. Okay? Yeah, why? Because they love their autonomy of reason. And even though, by the way, you see, you missed it in the debate tonight when I pointed out to my interlocutor that he therefore has no grounds whatsoever to assert anything, you know what he said? He goes, you have the same problem too. So he admitted everything he says is unintelligible because it's without basis, and everything that he asserted was without demonstrability, which was his criterion of belief. Prove it, demonstrate it. But he admitted his worldview has no basis of demonstrability.
So
I mean,
basically, they're cutting their.
yeah. Watch the debate. You're gonna laugh your butt off.
I believe you. The other thing he's saying here is, there was the part where you said they'll say, "I don't know" eventually, right? Like that's what you're saying. He did say that earlier. And the other thing he said here is that cogito is fact, but I don't know if it's ultimate or absolute.
No. Okay, no.
Not
Okay,
the fact
okay.
itself, but the existence of an I, aka my
No.
Like
Well, a fact. Hold. Stop. Stop. Okay. I'm going to mute you momentarily. I'm only doing this for the benefit of the other people in the room, not because I'm merciful. You said you know that cogito is a fact. Is that putative fact derivational and dependent, or is it unconditionally non-dependent?
Barlog, you're on.
Oh wait, I'm talking. Oh wait, I thought I was still going.
Yeah,
sorry.
I was just, this is for the benefit of everyone in the room, not because I'm being a nice guy for you, because I've had it with you.
Okay.
Now, you stated that the cogito is a fact. Is that putative fact derivational and dependent, that it requires a context for its viability and intelligibility, or is the cogito unconditionally non-dependent, eternal, and ultimate?
It's conditional on the linguistic framework.
Okay, bye. Here we go. He's a troll. He's a troll.
I tried. I'm done.
Okay. You see. Okay. So what we have here. Okay. What we have here is a lying, deceiving atheist who, when he's asked a straightforward question, he's throwing a boilerplate response of philoso-speak. Okay. So he's deliberately not addressing the question while pretending to answer the question truthfully, and he's just throwing philoso-speak at it.
He goes, he's typing in capitals in DM, and he's saying, "I'm saying it's conditional."
Yeah, he's deliberately doing this. It's called deceitfulness. Okay, he literally has plunged himself into incoherence as as a defense. In other words, I mean, it's like saying, if I said, "What's your favorite color?" and he starts talking about how he puts on socks in the morning. All right. But I guarantee you're really gonna like the debate. Okay.
I'll watch it. It's at the thing you told me before, right? That web.
Yeah, at Modern Day Debate. I really didn't like. I really don't appreciate that James had a graphic of the Darth Dawkins caricature wielding a cross as a Christian. I feel that was totally inappropriate. I'm going to ask him to change that graphic and remove the cross. I think that's extremely not just inappropriate, it borders on blasphemy. But I'm sure James meant well, but
Is it?
Why
Duncan
would you
8?
say that borders on blasphemy?
the cross is a sacred symbol of Christ's death, burial, and resurrection, and I don't believe it should be used in caricatures or comical representations.
Kind of like the Muslims.
Okay?
Well, see, what I think he was trying to do is illustrate you as a Christian, and he didn't know quite how to do that.
Yeah, but when you depict me as Darth Dawkins with the Richard Dawkins facial caricature with the Darth Vader helmet, and he has the cross in his hand like it's a lightsaber, that's what we call a parody. Okay, And I do not believe that we should do any parodies with sacred truth.
Understood.
Okay? That's my view. If you disagree, fine. I remember years ago I talked with somebody, a young man, about an art contest, and there was this one Christian who depicted the cross as a logo on the sides of sneakers and on the bottom of sneakers, and I said, that's just blasphemous. And the young man thought, well, I thought he's just trying to use art to get across the symbol of the cross. And I said, on the bottom of sneakers where you're walking on the ground, even if that it's a cartoon representation. And after explaining it in more detail for half an hour why it is inappropriate at best, and it is bordering on blasphemy, this young man said, well, I still don't see anything wrong with it. So I asked him if he was taking stupid pills. He denied it. But that's another story.
But we also have to be careful not to idolize the cross.
That's not. We're not idolizing
Right.
the cross, but the cross. The cross is a graphical representation of history. It should not be depicted as though it's a comical weapon of warfare. And listen, don't get me wrong. I don't think James. I think James meant well when he did that. I just feel that it's inappropriate at best. Okay.
Do you think that we shouldn't show depictions of Muhammad?
What do you mean? What do you mean the caricatures?
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with doing caricature representations of false teachers. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
Now, if you're dealing with Muslims, I think it's a bad idea to do that. Not out of fear, but it's gonna backfire. But just caricatures in general of Muhammad or other false teachers, I don't have a problem with it. Okay? It's kind of like slamming the door in Jehovah's Witnesses' face, because to them that's a sign that they're on the path to truth. Okay, it doesn't achieve what the person intends it.
They don't come to my door anymore, Jehovah's Witnesses.
Want to hear a funny story about JWs? 30 years ago, they came to my home. They're two women, and I had questions for them. And they go, well, those are really good questions. We know how to answer it. Can we come back in a week or two with some of our elders? I said, sure. Come on back. So 2 weeks later, their elders showed up. Okay,
I remember this story.
There were two or three of them, right? And they came with their satchels, and I sat down, and they thought, that, they were going to, this was the hired guns. They said, oh, we hear you have questions. I said, yeah, I do. And I turned to my wife. I said, would you hand me the folder, please? And she hands me the folder, and I pulled out a photocopy of the headlines of the Watchtower Bible Tract Society when they predicted the end of the earth back in the 20th century in the teens. And I said, is this your organization? He goes, yes. I said, your prophet of God, the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, predicted the end of the world. That did not happen. Then I handed him another photocopy. He says, is this your organization? And he said, yes. We went through about 12 or so photocopies. Well, when I was getting toward the end, okay, I was very polite with him. Wasn't angry or anything. I just said, I said, I have shown you a copy of what your own organization, the Prophet of God, the Watchtower, and the Watchtower Bible and Tract Society, has predicted the end of the world. And so, on the grounds of Scripture, your prophet is a false prophet. The elder stood up, grabbed his satchel, and ran out of the house. And the other two men, along with the, I don't remember if it was one or two women, they also ran out after him. The following week, the JWs were scouring my neighborhood, and when two women went to my door, one of the elders was across the street, and he screamed to them, "Don't go there! He's an apostate!"
Yeah, they're. You know what's interesting with them too? I actually had two of them show up. It was a husband and wife, I think. And I have a copy of a Bible they gave out a while back.
Was it green? Was it green?
It wasn't green. It's a dark one. It's a black one.
Okay, because it used to be green.
Yeah, no, this was black. And in it, they used to have brackets around the words that weren't in the original manuscripts, right? So they'll put, if they put a word in it that's not in the original manuscripts, they'll put brackets around it. And that's how they signified that that's not written in the original manuscripts. So I had them open up to Colossians chapter 1, verse 16, where it says, all things were created by him and for him. In their version that they had at my door, the newer version, it didn't have the brackets. So I said, can you open it there? And they opened it. And I said to them, and before I had gone to their Bible there, I had asked them if their Bible changes. Has it changed? And they said no, right? So then when the guy showed me his Bible in that verse, I said, and I showed him the other Bible, and I said, don't come to my door and lie to me. You just told me it hasn't changed. Why do you have brackets here and not?
Oh my gosh!
Oh yeah, they were. Oh yeah, it was bad. And I said to them, don't come to my door and lie to me again. This is terrible. Is this what your Jehovah Witnesses are about? And they goes, and I basically said, I gotta go. I'm not talking to liars. He hung up the door.
Hold
And
on a
then
second.
what happened was, see him. He was so mad. He was kind of yelling at her because she bursted out and said, "No, it hasn't changed." Like that was.
Oh my God! Yeah, that's
Yeah,
the
he was pretty
problem.
mad at her.
Honestly, yeah. Hey, Phantasmal or whatever your name is. Why did you send me a message and delete it? Okay, because I read it. If you say God is evil, right? What is your ultimate standard that you have in mind that you can know that evil is a deviation of it? What is it? If God is evil, then you must have an ultimate standard that God deviates from. What is it? Do you have an answer to that, Fanta? Yeah, I don't think you do. Oh, okay. What is how do you say your name? Phantasm or whatever. I'll just call you Fanta. What is the ultimate standard that you classify as good? What is it? Oh, okay. Well, here's the problem. Okay, human morality would just simply be the result of the random mutations, some of which were fortuitous and had an increase of fitness. Why would the product of random mutations collectively be the standard of the good? Okay. Do you have an answer to that? Yeah. See, these people are just babbling fools. Okay. I mean, they're not even embarrassed to say the most outrageous, stupid things. If you say human morality, well, human morality or ethical imperatives is derived of human neurology, but human neurology itself is the product of random mutations, resulting in some increase of fitness. Okay, fitness is not determined by truth or the correctness of a belief. And in fact, there couldn't be a norm for how people ought to believe. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, your position is just simply incoherent. Okay. Yeah, tell that if there's a norm, tell that to the Democrats. Tell that to Pol Pot. Tell that to Mao Zedong. Tell that to Ho Chi Minh. Tell it to Stalin, Hitler. Tell that to Jeffrey Dahmer.
Mike, dude.
Yeah, tell that to all of the serial killers that we know about. Okay. Yeah, dude, you're a moron. I'm not going to waste my time with you. You just don't ignore.
He's just clueless.
Yeah, this is what we're left. We're left with drive-by atheists who are keyboard warriors, because they know that if they get on the microphone, all I have to do is ask them a couple of simple questions, and they're going to get annihilated. And they don't want to be annihilated, so they're keyboard warriors.
They gotta get their jobs in some way, either through audible speaking or through text.
Oh, I got a message. Somebody sent me a message. Good fight tonight, Darth. Okay. Thank you.
Does anybody have a link to this debate? I have not seen it.
Go to YouTube, type in modern day debate. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, it's the first link.
He's whining about abuse. He doesn't have a standard for abuse.
Yeah, to the other Christians in here, this is just a suggestion. It's.
You said don't read
Can
them.
we
I'm not gonna read them.
can we try to ignore these drive-by keyboard warriors, because they ignore much of what we say in response. Okay, so it's kind of a waste of time. I mean, I don't mind if some of us want to do a critique as to the incoherency and foolishness of what they're saying, but to engage them in a dialogue where they're just keyboard warriors, it's a waste of time. No, hey, Fanta, listen. What I just said stands. If you want to have an interaction, get on the microphone, okay? If for some reason you can't get on the microphone, then you're wasting our time. You're just being a keyboard warrior, all right? Yep, that's right. I said, go away, little boy. You're a troll. Yep, you're exactly right.
When you click his name, if you read what it says there, you can see he's a troll. He's a moron.
Look, I have a note down in his account. He previously went under a different name in Godless Girl server, and he said, I want to debate Darth where he can't mute, right? Well, you've already interacted with me tonight, and you got destroyed. You're a clown.
400.
Oh no, you're back. Oh my gosh. Did you want to continue the conversation?
Yeah, have a note.
Well, we can just have chit chat. Yeah, why not?
Okay, can you do me a favor? Your mic is really weak. And I have you turned up. Can you get closer to your mic source?
Yeah, sure, but I'm not gonna be here for long. We can chit chat for sure. What do you want?
Okay. Well, the point is though, since we're interacting socially, there's an unwritten social contract that we will be truthful. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
are you gonna still talk about Christianity?
Well, what I'd like to know from you, succinctly and without being evasive, and how is it that there is no God?
How is it that there is no God?
Right. Now, what I'm going to do is when you answer me, I'm going to critique the coherence and the intelligibility of what you say, not to bash you, but to inform you. So how is it that there's no God?
Because there's multiple option, and you told me that it was.
That's that. Okay, that's it. No, that's an that is literally an incoherent response.
No, but there's multiple.
You're not. Listen to me. Listen to me carefully.
Again,
listen carefully.
Can you
listen to me?
Can I
listen,
make a
dude.
Point? Can I make a
okay?
Point?
You can make a point after I respond to you. Sure. What you just said is incoherent, and the reason why is this: if you say X is false, you can only do so by asserting and accounting for not X. Okay?
Okay.
Now, whatever you might consider and say that there A, B, and C models of reality are all not X, but only one of them could actually be a falsifier for A or God, okay, or X, whatever one I chose, all right? So it's literally logically incoherent to say there are multiple defeaters. There can only be...
Okay.
Okay, in order to falsify A, you have to present not A with specificity.
Okay. Buddha. Yahweh.
No. Dude, listen to me.
What?
What did I say to you in the beginning? There's an unwritten social contract that we will be truthful with one another.
I am
you
being
need,
truthful.
Okay, look, dude. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt, although I know you're lying to me right now. But at a certain point, I'm going to server mute you. Buddhism. Listen to me carefully. Buddhism is essentially atheistic, but you're going to have to tell me what is irreducibly and indispensably primary, and that it's not personal. God, what is it?
Well, that's unfalsifiable.
That's not an answer to my question. That was a throwaway, deceitful response.
Again,
by the way,
listen to me. On my part.
Listen to me carefully. Okay.
You're the one assuming malice.
Listen to me carefully. Listen to me carefully. Dude, listen to me.
This reverse.
You should listen a little bit more. Do you understand that the falsification criterion is a permutation of the verification criterion? Are you aware of that?
Can you define those words? Define those
yeah,
words.
The verification principle is that in order for a proposition to be meaningful, it has to be verified by our senses. Okay? That's the verification principle, right? The verification principle was eviscerated and destroyed in the last century, and you're not going to find, and I would be shocked if you did, you're not going to find any philosopher, even an atheist philosopher, who will espouse the verification principle. Now, the falsification principle is a permutation of verificationism. It says, in order for any, may I finish, please?
No, but you put more words.
I'm trying to explain something to you.
That I don't
dude,
understand.
okay. All right. Well,
Okay.
then if you okay, I think what I said
Keep
a high
it
school
simple
student
and
could.
stupid. Keep it
Good.
simple and stupid.
Well, you're wasting your time invoking the falsification principle because that's not addressing the question. How is it that God does not exist? Invoking the falsification principle will only get you to a nullification of reasons for God. It will not show you that God is false. The falsification criterion is simply attempting to nullify or vitiate a reason for God. And Kai Nielsen, a renowned atheist philosopher, said, the reasons for God may fail, but it still may be the case that God exists. So we're going to go back to square one again. And please do not repeat what you said earlier. How is it that God is false?
How is it that it's not?
Yeah.
I mean, it's gibberish. this channel's it's called Red Politics, and I've been
Okay.
here all day, and
Okay.
I didn't hear anything about politics.
I did
All
not
I've heard
hear.
is
I
about
did not. Okay.
Christianity.
I did not. Okay. I just server muted you. Okay. Now, please stop. I'll ask the question again. Asking me a question about how he's not, okay, doesn't address the question. Your position is that there is no God. So, for my benefit and everybody else, I'd like to know how you determined that God is false.
My position is a lack of belief in God.
Okay, good. Now we're making progress. Now, when we talk about God, okay, we're talking about the creator-creature distinction, all right? Because you have a lack of belief in all gods, which would mean that you lack belief in God, where God is the creator and there's a creature distinction. Okay, do you understand that before I move on?
I have a lack of belief in God. And
You have a lack of belief in the creator.
in all gods.
Please do not overtalk me. Okay.
No, I'm restating your point.
All right. All right. Now you lack belief in the creator-creation distinction. That is a worldview. You lack belief in a worldview. Now, if you lack belief, okay, all right, dude, please don't overtalk me. You know, I'm fully aware that atheists use obstructionism and being obnoxious in order to derail the progress.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I'm well acquainted with this strategy. Now, when you lack belief in the creator-creature distinction, that is a worldview. If you lack belief in any worldview, you do so only on the grounds of the worldview that you are reasoning and speaking from. Let me repeat. Any worldview that you lack belief in, you do so on the grounds of the worldview that you are speaking and reasoning from. Okay, do you understand that?
Yeah, my personal belief. Indeed.
No, your worldview, okay?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. My worldview is derived for entirely myself and my perspective. That is not encompassing of all the other worldview. You are correct.
Yeah, hold on a second. To the guy who's just posting those obscene memes, I don't want to have to type the code where you get banned. So please stop. Okay, now. All right, where was I? Okay, so if you lack belief in a worldview, you do so in virtue of your worldview. Every worldview is incompatible and contradictory to every other worldview. It necessarily follows. Okay, yeah. Worldview A is a denial and negation of worldview not A. Now, that could be that not A could be worldview B, worldview C. Okay, so whatever worldview that you lack, you deny. Do you understand?
I do.
Good. Therefore, when you lack belief in God, the creator-creation distinction, then you deny that it exists.
If I reinstate that?
Whatever worldview that you lack belief in, you deny. Since you lack belief in the creator-creation distinction, then you deny it in virtue that your worldview that you're speaking to me from is the negation of such. So when you try to characterize your position simply as an autobiographical statement, it turns out upon examination that your position is not simply autobiographical, that your statement necessarily entails the denial of the worldview of a creator-creation distinction. Yes. So your position is not simply or only autobiographical. Your position is the denial of the existence of the creator-creature distinction. So once again, how is it that God, the creator-creature distinction, is false?
why do you require an answer from me?
Because that's your position, and I would like to know if you have a rationale for that.
My rationale is that is not my moral concern. Right now, I have better things.
We're not discussing morals here. I'm asking you, do you have rational grounds or warrant that God is false?
I have better shit to do.
Okay, so your atheism is not warranted?
My atheism is not predicated upon advocating for proselytizing the lack of faith in God. I don't care, really.
Have you been drinking tonight?
No, I don't.
Okay, well, I'm trying to figure out why you're being so incoherent.
It's not incoherent.
What you just said is barely coherent. Now, one more time. Your position entails the denial and falsity of God. How did you arrive at the falsity of God?
Why did I simply lack a belief in God?
That's already been rebutted. A lack of belief entails the denial of God.
Yes, but it could be for multiple of reasons.
Okay, I would like to know how it is that God is false.
How it is that God is false? I don't know.
So you are holding to atheism on irrational grounds?
No.
Good. What is the rational grounds that God does not exist?
There's no rational ground to assert or deny there's a God.
Unfortunately, what you're trying to describe your position is one of neutrality, but you cannot be neutral because you've already admitted that you lack belief in a worldview. If you lack belief in a worldview, then please do not overtalk me.
I do.
Please do not overtalk me. Overtalk me again, and you will be out.
Okay. Well, ban me then.
No, I didn't say I was going to ban you. You won't be speaking anymore. And what you're attempting to do right now by overtalking is because you can't answer my question, or you don't want to answer it on pains of looking foolish. You want to go to plan B and become obstructionistic, which is a tactic that many atheists employ. Now, what I'd like to know, I want to know is your position, and we've gone over this several times. Your position necessitates the falsity of God. So we're going to try one more time. How is it that God is false?
Well, you don't like my answer, so why should I answer it? I'm being honest. I'm thinking that because there's a multiple choice of God to begin with, there's different.
Okay,
It doesn't say how God is false, man.
We're done. He's now going back as a dog returns to its vomit and says, lunch. He's going back to one of his original answers, which I explained to him in detail and methodically is incoherent. He did not offer a counter rebuttal. So he's simply repeating the same claim that he made that I defeated earlier. Okay, which he has no, see, what he's showing right now is he has no intention in being truthful about his position. This is why when I engaged him from the get-go, and I said, if we're going to talk, we have a basic social contract that you will be truthful, that you and I will be truthful. But he's made it abundantly clear that he has no intention of being truthful. What he intends to do is to put up a facade, a pretense that he's answering me when he's really not. He's simply being evasive while pretending to answer, which is a form of deceit. Okay?
Yeah, exactly.
God is evil.
All right, I'll be back in a minute. I have to switch my headset.
He's evil. Stay away. God is evil, say with me.
Okay,
Are you an
how's my mic?
atheist?
How's my mic?
It's Darth. If that's you, you sound completely different. It's muffled.
God is evil, say with me.
Well, if you're an atheist, how can you justify good or evil?
Okay, is my mic working now?
Yes, now it's clear like it was before.
Okay, I'm getting static. Onus, mute your microphone, please. Onus, mute your microphone, please. Okay, so what can we learn from these many encounters with atheists? What we find is they're constantly and habitually deceitful and deceptive in their interchanges. Well, why? If somebody really is a truth seeker, why would they engage in such deceptive practices? Oh, that's right, because they're on the run from God, the God that they know exists. And they think that they can deny God with their grad bag of atheist slogans, but when they present the atheist slogans and aphorisms and cliches, they are one by one eviscerated and they're shown to be incoherent on their own terms. Right?
No.
No? You want to repeat that?
I said no. Like, it's not.
Okay.
Like, people are actually having questions.
All right. Yeah. You gotta fix your microphone. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Okay, hang on.
Okay. So, are you an atheist?
Hang on one moment. Okay. Yes.
Boy, we're having some great conversations tonight.
Yes.
I hope nobody's choked on their popcorn. Okay. So, can you tell me why you're an atheist?
Hang on. I need to fix my audio.
What did he say?
That he has to fix audio.
I didn't even hear that.
What the? What's wrong with my push to talk, man?
By the way, Verb, if you watch my debate tonight with Michael Stort, who I'll have to come up with a nickname for him, Michael Trainwreck Stort. Okay, he complained that I was asking all the questions, and I said, "Oh, okay, ask away." So I let him ask a mini barrage of questions, and then when I got done, then I resumed asking him questions, and he crashed and burned like the Hindenburg. Okay. Oh, you haven't seen that? Somebody post a link to the debate so he can watch it. Look at Ghost. He says, "My inflated ego, it will lead me to hell."
If God is real, then he's evil.
Yeah, dude, you have to do more than mumble. If you're just gonna mumble and be sheepish, then there's no point in you talking on the microphone. Okay?
I said, God is real, then evil.
Yeah, you got to start all over. You're breaking up. I'm waiting.
I said, if God is real, then he's evil.
Okay, that's an incoherent statement. When you say God, are you defining God as being irreducibly primary?
In this extent, yes.
Okay, well then that would be incoherent, because if God is irreducibly primary, there could not be any other ultimate standard. That would be a contradiction in terms. So when you say God is evil, all you're just simply saying is God's commands and actions do not make me happy, God's commands and actions do not conform to your reasoning. That's all what you're saying means. Do you understand that?
Yes, but it doesn't just
Okay,
make.
hold
I'm
on
not
a
the
second.
only one.
Okay, it doesn't matter that there are other people. It doesn't matter whether it's you or every single person on this planet. It would make no difference. Okay? Now, when you say God is evil, then in order for God to be evil, you have to have an independent, objective standard of the good that God deviates from. Now, if your standard is the reasoning of the human mind, okay, and that God's commands and actions deviate from the human mind, you're going to be in a whole bag of philosophical hurt that you never saw coming. Do you actually believe that human reasoning is ultimate?
Yes.
Okay, good. You're in for a whole bag of hurt. Now,
Okay.
in order for human reasoning to be ultimate, you have to have the capacity to interpret facts. In order to interpret facts, facts are going to have to be placed conceptually in a model of reality on a metaphysical canvas. So, in order to have any facts at all to reason, you're going to have to know